to history in the record book.
Any update on the fight? Everybody want to see.
Ain't no updates yet, man. We still trying to figure things out. You know what I mean? Hopefully we can get this thing done and get it done.
What's going on, family? It's your man the YB. Big love to Devil Dog 83 for boosting up your man the YB coin. 1,000,000% confirmed. So we just heard there from your mans Terece, who loved to smoke bud. Crawford, 100%. Terece, who loved to smoke Spence. Crawford, no doubt. Now, man, this is what I told you, man, as well. I've been told you, man. Don't get your hopes up for nothing. Now, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of you optimistic cats who don't know the sport of boxing who are sitting there saying, oh, YB, give them time. Give them time. They've been had time. They've been had 5 years now. Seriously, maybe not 5, but 3 years. 3 years, yeah. Crawford's been in this division. I think about 3 years he's had a belt as well. I think him and versus Horn was 2019 or something. Oops, yeah? You had 3 years to make this fight. And Crawford's been doing nothing in between. Crawford's had one belt for 3 years. And it's not really his fault. It's both of their faults. And what worries me is, yeah, anyone who knows anything about business, and even if you don't know anything about business, I'm going to take you on a logical journey right now, yeah? Let's do it. Here we go. Me and you, yeah, want to put a fight on. How long does it take for me to, especially this day and age, we're not talking about the 1400s, we had to send a pigeon, yeah? In 2022, how long does it take for me to pick a phone up and ring you and say, listen, me and you, let's come and sit down and get this done? And even failing that, you shouldn't really need to meet in person. What's there to talk about? How much? Date? Venue? Sorted. I honestly don't understand how it takes. I mean, a week is like the most for me. Really, these things should be done in a day. But I get it. A week is like the max. This thing's been going on, no word of a lie. These conversations leaked 4 to 8 weeks ago. It's like, this whole thing is Mayweather Pacquiao too. And in a way, Mayweather Pacquiao was different. They both had lawsuits against each other. Pacquiao was suing Mayweather for defamation. And there was a whole bunch of other things going on. Not to excuse it, but I mean, that's just the way it was. It's a bit different back then, in my opinion. These two cats, though, and actually even Floyd and Pacquiao, they had their own careers going on. Even though really Floyd was still fighting bums. I'm not sure what Pacquiao was doing, but I'm not sure if Pacquiao was fighting anyone better, to be honest. But either way, the point is, Crawford and Spence, their careers are each other. Yeah? Neither one of these men, in my opinion, are going to make it to that Floyd level without each other. In all fairness, I'm not even sure, even if they do fight, that they're going to become that next Canelo. But one thing for sure, you ain't going to get there without it. Do you get what I'm saying? Fighting more of these Sean B-level Porter type dudes, that's not going to do it, is it? If anything's going to do it, it's going to be this fight. 4 to 8 weeks later, Crawford saying no update. And what gets me is it's kind of like the whole vibe. It's so casual, isn't it now? It's so casual and so happy-go-lucky. And I told you about this the other day. Notice, and what I don't understand is, notice that we rarely hear about any problems. We rarely hear about any negotiations when these dons are fighting bums. Yeah? Did you man hear anything about Crawford and Porter? I think there was a little bit, but boom, it got done. No problem. All them other bum fights that Spence has been having against Garcia and all these other dudes. Let's not forget, people, Terence Crawford's a free agent now. The whole excuse about different sides has been gone. And again, this isn't a new phenomenon. Crawford's been free for a minute. So what taking so long? Yeah? We know Crawford has signed to fight bum fighters for less money than the Spence fight. You got paid less to fight bums, and you signed it. Spence, the same thing. Spence has been paid less to fight bums, so now you're being paid more. What's the problem? The only problem is, one or both of the men is scared for a proper fight. That's the only thing that makes sense here, people. Fair enough, yeah, let's say and it's not just these two, it's the whole sport at the moment. Benavidez, Plant, all of them. Yeah? But the difference is, I guess at least Plant was happy to fight the top fight in Canelo and get his cheeks busted. Yeah? These two seem half shook. Because what's taking so long to negotiate that you normally get done? No problem. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Where's the tripping point? It's different if it's always like this. Oh, well, YB. When Crawford was fighting Sean B-level Porter, that took 10 months to do as well. That's never the case though, is it? When David Benavidez signed to fight David Lemieux, that fight on like Donkey Kong. No problem. And that's how a lot of these bum fights go. A lot of these bum fights, yeah, they just get announced and you're like, wow, where did that come from? And that's really how it should be. But my beef is when you get the good fights, there's all this waiting. There's all this ambiguity. I'm not even sure, but yeah, it's pure ambiguous. Yeah? Nothing's ever certain. And both fighters, they're all stum. And even Crawford here, look at the energy he's giving off. It's that weird energy kind of implying, yeah, for example, he could have said, no update, but best believe. Either, if it was me, yeah, I'd say, no update, but you best believe I'm chewing for this fight. Or, no update, but I gotta let you man know, Errol Spence's team, their ass is flapping a bit. Their ass is flapping a little bit. Yeah, it's creating a lot of wind right now. Do you understand? Either way, both of them give the fans more context to no update. No update and smiling and laughing like this. You should have nothing to smile about. You've got business to handle. It's almost as if they don't recognise that. They think, well, if it don't... That's the thing. It's too easy for these things not to happen. If this fight don't happen, Crawford can still fight some bum for $4 million. Errol Spence can still fight some bum for $5 or $6 million. Doesn't make a difference to them, and that's why I guess they are the way they are. But it don't do nothing for us fans, does it? About no update. Why ain't the fight? I'm being funny. Never mind update. Why ain't the fight done? I'm about fucking update. I'm sick of updates. Yeah, because we don't get no updates in all the bum fights. They're just on, aren't they? How can you make... I don't understand how people can make 30 easy fights, no problem. Get to a good fight and there's all problems and it takes months to do. Now I'm sure all of the shills will say, oh well YB, you know, there's a lot of contract stuff. Yeah, well there's contract stuff for every fight. Now I guess maybe one of the points which has been part of the contention before is the whole split part. Who gets what? And I'm really thinking about that. That probably is what the problem is. Crawford thinks he's worth 50-50. Spence thinks he's worth 60-40. Now, my key principle, I mean, back in 2017 when we were arguing about AJ and Wilder, yeah, my key principle's always been, what is your highest earning fight? Or, what is your highest pay-per-view revenue? But then again, you can't count the pay-per-view revenue because it takes two to tango. So go by the purse. Terence Crawford, what is your highest purse? Proven with bank deposits, yeah? Errol Spence, what is your highest purse? Proven with bank deposits. Boom. That way, we know the market value. Or, you could, I guess, go by pay-per-view. How many pay-per-views have you done? How many pay-per-views have you done? If you can't sell pay-per-views, then what really are you bringing to this fight? Oops. So if Terence Crawford wants 50-50, yeah, put his his market rate doesn't back that up. He must take 60-40. Because really, what are you bringing to the table? You ain't bringing the numbers because you've never brought the numbers before. Yeah? So really, that is, I don't know, I haven't seen Terence Crawford's earnings and, well, tell a lie, we have seen his pay-per-view numbers and they're not up to Spence's. So he does have to, and also, he doesn't have 3 belts. This fight for me, based on the belts, based on the pay-per-view numbers, it reminds me of AJ versus Wilder. Bottom line. And I would say AJ is the A-side, and he was at that point in time. And the same must be said now for Errol Spence. He is the clear bona fide A-side in this, based on belts, based on opposition, and based on pay-per-view revenue. Yeah? And if that's a sticking point, Team Spence need to come out and expose that. It's no good letting negotiations fail before you've put public pressure on Terence Crawford. Now maybe the fact that we haven't heard no one exposing that someone's ducking or someone's complaining about splits, maybe it's going okay, but it just seems like forever, doesn't it? And I'm sorry, but historically speaking, fights where negotiations drag on, it tends to lead the fight don't happen. Think about Fury and AJ, think about AJ and Wilder. Yeah? The fights that do happen, like Fury and Wilder, they just get done. Yeah? The minute it starts to drag out, that's when things don't add up. Because we know, based on all of their other fights, there's never any problems. So the minute it takes a whole bunch of time, there's something not quite right there. And I gotta be honest with you, if this fight don't happen, I'm done with whoever the problem is. And I hope that whoever's fault it is. Now, if this fight doesn't happen, yeah, and both sides just go quiet, then they're both bums, in my opinion. But if one side exposes the other, that's how it should be, really. But if, I've got a feeling that what might happen is, the fight doesn't happen, yeah, and they both kind of agree to duck. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we can make more money just fighting bums. Let's just slip off and quickly rearrange some new fights. Because a lot of boxing fans, yeah, they're slow and low IQ. Benavidez has pulled this trick about 5 times in a row. Yeah, he books a fight really quickly, and then in between that fight happening, he talk about everyone. Canelo, I want him. I want Andrade. After the fight, then after the fight, he disappear. Don't no one see him, and then the cycle starts again. And I'm telling you, I'm calling it now. In a month or 2, yeah, you'll hear Benavidez versus a complete bum, and he'll be back on the scene saying, "Oh yeah, after this fight, I'm fighting this guy, that guy, that guy." They use that to sell the next fight. It's a PBC special, but Ryan Garcia does it as well. Yeah, books a fight against a bum. Oh yeah, the next one. Yeah, and then disappears after the fight. No, I mean, for example, Ryan Garcia was talking about Tank before the Tago fight. After the Tago fight, where was Garcia? Nowhere. And now we've got the salmon and tuna fight. Yeah, big fish sound and ass. Oops. And that's what my bet is. My bet is both men announce some random ass fight out of nowhere. That's what coming, 100%. And if I'm wrong, I'll be happy to be wrong, but it won't be my fault. It'll be the dead ass sports fault anyway, 100%.